Welcome to the class. This is all about print and cut. Stops, never say no again. Of course, if you have one of these guys. The whole principle of print and cut is to offer solutions to your customers. Never be able to say, I can't do that again, because you have the opportunity now to reach out into so many different venues, the versatility of this machine, versatility, flexibility, and durability. Those are the key words. I told the last class I was going to test them on it. I didn't have time for that. Speaking of not having enough time, I found that it's really tough for me to get through everything, so you get a chance to do yours. So if I talk real fast, say repeat that, please, because you sounded like you were really on speeders here right now. But we need to try to get through everything. You're going to get an opportunity to do some hands-on. That's why you have the print and cut everything on your seats there, which you have now probably in your hands. But talking about the print and cut process. We're looking largely at the Roland Versacamm, as you see behind me. This is the Roland VS300i. There's a lot of different models. Hopefully we get a chance to discuss those. They are in your packet. You will see the special pricing that you see in the whole lineup, all the different type of devices. But the principle itself, the overview is this. It is a solvent, inkjet, printer, cutter. Okay, each one of those has something. It's using inkjet technology, using the solvent-based inks, the same inks that they use for signs and banners and decals for outdoors, which this will do, what this was made for. We've stolen the technology and used heat transfer films to do the same type of thing. So the durability is exceptional. And the versatility is exceptional as well, as we talk about a little bit later, all the different things that you can do. But it's solvent, inkjet, printer, cutter. It prints, and then it comes back and contour cuts. You decide where it's going to cut in your art file. Using CorelDRAW, Adobe Illustrator, something like that, bring in your design, assign the cut line to the outside, export as an EPS, bring it into the RIP software, it prints and it cuts, all in one motion. Actually, it comes back and cuts. The principle is it's always a two-ply material. As you can see with what you have here, and you're going to be doing this very same thing, there are two pieces to this. On the back side is this polyester carrier, which you can't really tell that it's there until you take away the finished part. And we're going to do this. You're going to do this on a hard surface so you don't hurt yourselves or anybody around you. But I'm going to show you briefly what happens here. Using the weeder, I just kind of scoop and pick up the top layer, and now you can see that there's this carrier underneath here, which does nothing but keep this stable so that it can run through the printer cutter. And then on top is the finished goods. Now this is Express Print. Express Print is a matte finish polyurethane material designed to go to cotton and polyester. It's our best seller because it's the most production friendly and the most affordable to use. Love it. That's why I gave you the easy stuff to work with. I won't give you something hard. None of it's really super hard, but this is a lot easier to do. While we're talking, I'm going to go ahead and send a design so you can actually watch it happen, just so you don't believe that we actually did this here. We're going to do 3 of these same Cupcake Factory logos. It'll print here, as you see from the last class. Those are printed. It's going to start up and do it again. Now processing. It'll take a little while for it to get started because it has to bring the heaters to temperature. There are 2 different heaters on this machine. One in the back that kind of preps the media, makes it soft enough for the print receptor to take the ink. And then there's a dryer. This is actually warm right here. It doesn't hurt, but it actually stays warm. That's drying the ink so that it doesn't smear. So when it comes off of here, it's dry to the touch and ready to go. One thing that I forgot to mention, very informal, very casual. If you have a question at any time, just blurt it out. You can raise your hand if you want, if you feel like your parents taught you that well. But either way, just bring it out. We want to answer your questions. This is to be educational for you. So if there's something you want to know or didn't understand, feel free to just throw it out there, and we'll try to cover everything as we go. But there's always going to be something that matters to you that we may miss. Okay, so what I like in versatility, all the different things that we can do. We're going to discuss that a little bit later. Everything that you see over there on this side was done on the Versacamm, a printer cutter device, whether it be the BN20, whether it be the VS300 ISP. There's a lot of different models. But as you can see, there's a number of different fabrics there: cotton, polyester, nylon, my leather binder, or faux leather binder. I still don't know what it's made of, but it sticks, doesn't care. Because some of the materials that we have will adhere to anything. Yes, ma'am?
When you say cotton, 100% cotton or cotton and blend?
Either or.
Wow.
No restrictions. Nylon, silk, leather, yes.
Is that material compatible with a 300B? Can you use it on
Yes.
roller?
Yeah. Actually, with any solvent inkjet printer, as long as it's solvent inkjet, all of our materials are good there. So it's, eco-solvent, solvent-based, all good. Yep. Any other questions as we move? We'll try to stay on task so we get through everything so we don't miss out on anything. So the process, the overview is what you just saw. It prints, it's going to print. We're going to speed up the process. It's going to print the full-size logo, and it's going to cut around the outside. Now, where you cut it out is up to you. You put those cut lines where you should be. A design like the Dynamo design up there on a big logo on a shirt, on a 100% cotton t-shirt using express print, probably not going to feel the best because it's going to feel a little, you're going to know something's there. And that's kind of what the objections of your customer could be. Although we're tougher on ourselves than our customers are on us, they largely just want a really cool looking full color logo on their shirt, and when they see it, they go, whew, that's pretty cool. We're the ones that are worried about what's the hand like, how's it feel. There's a small percentage of people who are concerned about that. But the trick is to get the best hand is to get more cutouts, more of the fabric showing through. So the logo that you have there is kind of a nice blend. I like this type of logo because I've got the full color cupcake on top, but I've got somewhat separated text, but I didn't go so far as cut around every letter. We kind of ballooned around that a little bit. That's a nice balance. So that's a balance of good hand versus production friendliness. You can make it feel amazing by cutting around everything, but I could also sit there for a while and pick out every cavity, and now how much do I have to charge for that? Am I going to get these done in time? Find that balance when it's going to make sense for you. It's printing the design now. After it prints, it's going to roll right back in and contour cut around. You can kind of keep an eye on that as it goes. We're going to jump into the process of you getting a chance to, first of all, who has a heat press? Yeah, I love you. Who has a vinyl cutter? Oh, stop it. All right, who has a printer cutter? Who drives a BMW? Sorry, you're answering everything, I don't care. All right, so the natural progression is start with the heat press. Everybody's got a heat press. All the cool kids got them. Vinyl cutter is usually the next step, where I can do my own on demand, one color at a time. But as you start talking about layers, how registration, you have to double, triple, quadruple your cost as you add layers because you're duplicating your effort with every time you do it. Here it's one layer of material, full color, and you're cutting around one time. So the weeding and masking is much more efficient. Anything more than one color is the way to go with the print and cut. All right, so those of you who have vinyl cutters understand how to weed, so I'm not going to have to go to great detail about how to get this started, although I think there is a preferred method, the ice cream scoop of scoop away, curl to lift. Some people want to scratch at it and pick at it like this way. It makes me crazy, but that's all right. I'm just a little bit weird like that. But you're going to stake this. Always start close to where the cut line is going to be, so there's the least amount of resistance. I don't worry about this material because I can pretty much just grip it and rip it. I don't have to babysit this one. Some of the stretchier materials will want to curl for you. You have to hold them down as you go or pull horizontally away from it. But this is easy to go. I peeled away all the excess. Now I've got to pick out everything that's white in there, short of the icing on the cupcake.
45-degree blade or 60-degree blade?
Typically 45 for these. Anytime I go to a 60-degree blade is when I got a much thicker type material. You need that little extra pitch on the blade. And I go through, it is cutting now. Now, in production, I would say never, but if a customer needed just one and they were waiting, yeah, I'd do one at a time. But if I had 24 of these to do, I'd probably do them in sets of 12 or maybe all 24 because it's a small logo. I never want to do a set that is bigger than what I can kind of handle with my hands. Here's the size of this table is probably about as big as I would want to go as far as how many I would produce. So while this is printing and cutting, where after it's done, you send another job to it. It's printing and cutting while I'm weeding and masking. Works out very well. But it's more efficient to do multiple at one time. So I would typically have a dozen of these on this table, weed them all out, and then go back with one big piece of mask, and drop over top of it. Now that it's all weeded out, I didn't even forget to do the little cavity inside that seal like I did last time. No worries, because after you mask, you can always go back and pick it off from the back side, although it's a little tougher to see the cut lines. Trash can's under here when you get ready to play with that. And I have no mask. Let me grab a piece. The mask actually comes on a roll. I've already cut them into little pieces for you, so don't think you're going to get bite-sized pieces of mask when you order them. It's going to be on a full roll like you see standing in the corner. On that mask, you will see there's the wax paper backing. That's just there to keep it from sticking to itself as you go. Save that. We're going to use that. It's kind of oblong, so so is this logo, so I make sure that I'm covering it all. Drop down the center like this. That way it kind of avoids any wrinkles, so it'll hit this and you won't get any bubbles. Hit it and let it fall to the side. Just like that. Ta-da! These are not complimentary. These are not lovely parting gifts. Neither are these. Chad is here to frisk you when you leave. All right. Start start in the center and go outwards. This is a very small design, so it's not a big deal, but if I had a bigger design, I want to kind of start in the center and kind of work out all the ways around. Again, all we're doing is eliminating any chance for bubbles. Very forgiving material. I really don't even have to do as much as I did there. This is the part that makes noise. You peel it off. When you're done with this, you're ready to lay it back down on top of that wax paper. You just made a transfer. You'll set these now, stack these up, and they're not sticking to each other at the heat press. And then when it's time, of course, you discard this. You don't need this anymore. My mother would keep it, but you don't need to. Toss it in the trash. Keep a trash can right next to your heat press. Toss them aside. Lay it on top of your garment. Press. Peel hot. Game over. All right. Ready to start doing it? Bring your designs up here. I have table space here for 4 to 6 people. If we need, we can use the back sublimation printer back there. There's a desk over there. If you think you can do it on your lap, good luck with that. So wow me. Show me your prowess. Okay, time. Sorry. Now you have time. Do a little bit faster.
So the resolution on this is what, 1440?
It'll go up to 1440. Everything we're printing is usually around 720. 1440 is such overkill.
Like it was easy, but it's not as easy as you thought. Wow, there you go.
All right, congratulations. You are all skilled experts at weeding masking. I didn't hear anybody say, "Oh, I stuck myself with a weeder," or we'll see how your prints produce after this. Let's talk now about the versatility. We did mention about this. We're kind of combined to kind of expedite things here. We want to talk a little bit about what all you can do and what the cost is to produce, and then also what your selling price should be. Rough numbers. What kind of money is to be made in that for you? When you're talking heat transfer, most everything that you see over there, anything you're going to print and cut and press, depending on the material, it could vary a little bit, but the average is about 2 cents a square inch. 2 cents a square inch includes the material I'm printing on, the ink I'm printing with, and even the mask to lift it up with. We covered everything there. So about 2 cents a square inch. Now the express print could be as low as $0.015 a square inch. The tech line could be a little over 2 cents. It could be as low as 2. It could be 2.25 cents, if you can even measure it that far. But the good average is 2 cents a square inch. So when I produced my design, the simple dynamo left chest on the striped neon green shirt up there, let's say it's 3 by 5, 15 square inches. So your cost to produce that, it's about 30 cents. Everything short of your labor. And if I had, a dozen of those, I could do those inside of a minute of the weeding and masking, because there's no cavities in that one. So your labor under that part is, oh yeah, well you got to pick it all out. Well, you decide how laborious it is. Yeah, it's going to feel better if I have a lot more cavities, but it's also going to be more cost effective for you to do the ones that don't have a lot of cavities at all. That same logo could also be a decal, changing the roll of material. Always get asked, do I have to change out the ink when I'm doing outdoor banners and stuff like that? Nope, same ink stays in there. And the ink in this process is actually the most affordable part of the process. Unlike DTG, unlike sublimation, any other inkjet, especially the little printers that are next to your desk, those things, you have 50 sheets and you go, really? You're buying ink again? It's very, very efficient. In fact, your cost here, ink only, full coverage, no cavities at all, you're about 25 cents a square foot for the full coverage ink. So of that 2 cents in heat transfer, the ink is actually the smallest part. It's cheaper than the mask and or the media that you're printing on. So people always concern themselves, well, yeah, but how often do you have to buy ink? On this machine, because there's 8 440s in here, I would be really, really surprised if you bought ink within the first 9 months. And that's bicolor too. Yeah, it lasts. A little bit goes a long, long ways. Very efficient use of ink. It sounds foreign and people go, you gotta be kidding me, you're lying. They find out later after they buy their printer, say, you're right. Look, I got people after a year saying, well, finally need some ink. And I said, you running that thing? But they are. They're running them very well. They're actually getting good production. They use them on a nominal basis. Now, if you did nothing but banner after banner after banner, yeah, you're going to use ink a little bit more, but you're also making a lot more money because you're selling a lot of banners. All right, so as far as heat transfer, about 2 cents a square inch. Now, the versatility part of this machine is, which is great, because the same people that are coming in to buy these left chest logos, to buy the full fronts, to do the caps and the bags and all the other things that you heat pressed, they also need decals and banners and wall graphics and view-through vinyl for the back of pickup trucks. They need satin canvas like you see up here. They need the fat heads, the wall graphic. They need posters, all these different things. Just picture a school, for example. That's just my home base. I sell to this one school. You could probably make a living selling to one school if you got all of their business, because they all need all these different types of things. Of course, that springboards out to all the other organizations that the parents are involved in as well. They see a good job here, let's do that too. Now we're doing stadium chairs, we're doing promotional products like little frisbees and all this. It just keeps going and going. So, what all can you do? Well, we just mentioned them all. Let's look at the cost. Very easy to take that same logo and make a decal out of it. Up here, you see that on a piece of glass, it's this decal there. Even though that costs about 30 cents to produce on heat transfer, the same logo. If I decide, you know what, let's add some fries with that. Would you like some decals? Sure, I'll have a decal. What's that cost me? Well, it cost me a nickel to produce that. About 5 cents for that size logo that you see here. That's media, mask, and ink. That's everything combined. So the markup on non-wearables, non-heat transfer stuff is exceptional. What could you sell that for? People are going anywhere from $2 to $5 for a decal that they're looking for retail-wise. Everybody always nods their heads about what we pay. If you go to Myrtle Beach and get one with palm trees on, they're going to charge you $15. I cry like a child when I watch my kids come back with decals. I know what it costs to produce. I say, really? You pay $15 for? Yeah, it says Myrtle Beach, Dad. So it's all about the design, where it's going to sell, but the cost to produce is the same. So nice add-on sales, nice fundraising opportunity for you, for your schools. They cost you a nickel. Let's call it a dime with labor and packing and shipping, whatever, and dealer prep, whatever you want to add to that. You sell to them for $1, they sell it for $2. Everybody made money. They sell it for $5. They made a ridiculous amount of money. You say, okay, how about next time we sell it to you for $2? You'll find out where that is, but you're going to make money no matter what, because typical decals, not a lot of weeding there. I'm peeling away the excess, and here you go. Here's a whole roll of them. Sell them as you will. And they just peel them off and put them on if they're all one piece. Simple Starbucks logo, that Dynamo logo just peels off and puts on a car window. The same type of decal material used for signs, the side of a pickup truck for Joe's Plumbing and Heating, the back of the view-through vinyl, the perforated stuff that goes on the back of the truck. What else can you do? One of the biggest, okay, let's talk about this one. That's a wall graphic there because it's kind of stuck to the wall. It could easily be a poster. You can't tell at this point, but it's actually a repositionable, removable as many times as you want. Fat head, essentially. All the Stahls TV logos you see dotted around here, all done with that same material. Because, we'll take those down, put them back up. If you make a mistake, it's easy to reposition. We could change that logo at any time if we want to change the look in here. The biggest market for these, children's rooms, nurseries, elementary type of artwork, little duckies, horsies, dinosaurs. As the kid gets older, sit down, I'm done with dinosaur series, I'm 15, and you can take them down and you can put up something else. So it's and make them, it's because it's removable and repositionable. Satin canvas, one of my favorites. We've got two different offerings here. This kept with the theme of the soccer. This is kind of, to me, is like more, although that's very marketable too. But wedding photos, senior pictures. Get yourself connected with a photographer, or maybe you are one. It happens a lot in this industry. They send you their high-res photos, ready to be printed, because they're going to be cool because they're photographers and they're going to be the highest resolution. And you can print them, send them to them. They can do their own wrapping on the canvas if you want, or you can sell it to them as a finished product. Money to be made for both people. Again, there's a nice wholesale market in this type of stuff too. Or you choose to do it yourself. You take all the profit. What's the cost to produce something like this? Probably looking at in the neighborhood about $1.60 a square foot. So $1.60. We got there's not even 3 of those in here. They're selling upwards of $6 to $8 a square foot, sometimes $10 a square foot. I saw somebody pay $100 for one of these, their senior picture. I cry a lot, but it was difficult. It was difficult to take because I know what's involved in something like that, what your cost to produce is, and how much money there is to be made. So it's a really nice opportunity. When you're looking at wall graphics, about $1.15 a square foot. That's for the media and ink. There's no mask necessary for those unless you've got separated text, but usually just about $1.15 a square foot. You see what you charge for a fathead. Sometimes like $100, but that's licensed product, and your kid's not licensed, so you can probably get him done a lot cheaper. You have to pay the Players Association or anything like that. So my point is here is the versatility of this machine, all the different markets you can approach, adding to your existing customer base, which is the best way to increase sales, is to sell more to your existing base. They already trust you, they like you, they're used to coming to you. Expand that, and I'm also going to attract more people. I would take everything just like we have set up here. You could take a corner just like this, do one school, and do everything you could possibly do in that region. Do the shirt, do the hat, do the bag, do the banner. Speaking of banners, probably one of the next to decals is probably the next thing that most people want to do. 30-inch machine, yeah, I can do a 30-inch wide banner. Not typically a classic banner, which are 36 to 48 inches. In that case, I'd want to step to a 54-inch. But your cost to produce, regardless of where you print it, is about 50 cents a square foot. And depending on the region, here in the Northeast, we actually get a lot more than some of the people down in the Southwest and the different areas. It's all kind of varies by region. I'm hearing people charging as much as $6 to $8 a square foot for banners. Wholesale, you can do it for maybe $2 to $3 a square foot. There are some people out there you can, if you look hard enough, you can probably find some cheaper places. I always question whether how quickly they get to them. Was that freight included? What's the quality? Always check it out first. But the opportunity is there as far as additional add-on sales. We're going to give you an opportunity to press your logos, and we'll kind of talk over you as you're doing this, because I know y'all had heat presses. You're all skilled professionals at this. I'm going to show you quickly. Now we've put the optional platens on these machines already. This one's more manual, so you're going to swing it open, or you can pull it this way if you like. That's the Fusion. Interchangeable lower platen made it a lot easier. This is 8 by 10 platen on here. Your design's about 7 inches, 6 by 7, something like. No, it's not even that big. 5.5 by 6 something. There's straps. There's all kinds of weird things on here. So to get away from those, we're going to print on this side because, well, if you put this on your back, you won't see your logo. I figured that out. Whatever. Slide it on this way so that you're past this big old gnarly thing here, and then these fall down to the side. Straight is optional. It's up to you going forward. I'm not going to mandate that. Swing it closed. Lock it down. There's an extra bag if somebody can tell me what the pitch is coming here when this beep. What is that pitch? Name that pitch.
Time.
No, what's the note? Ah,
C sharp.
it's not a C sharp. You're about a third too high. It's an A flat. No extra charge for that bit of information. This one's going to be very similar. I ran out of platens because they're using them out there, so I ingeniously used the 7-inch round platen that you have here. Nobody knew what this was for. We finally have a use for the 7-inch round platen. Slide it on, same way. Your design will fit on there. Just make sure that there's a hard surface underneath your design. With this one, yeah, I feel like a kept man here. I just step on the little pedal here. Oh, yeah, isn't it cool? We press the 2 buttons. Mean business. Give it a full second, and then hang out. If I were in production, I wouldn't be hanging out. I'd be doing other stuff. I would fire me if I sat there and waited for most of my stuff to print. It'll open by itself. Peel it off. Done. All right. Let's go. First row. So the next step up is going to be the VS540i or the SP540i. This is the same printer as the 300, just bigger, 2 feet bigger. Why would I go to a 54-inch printer? If I even remotely think that I want to do banners, I would probably go to a 54-inch machine. If I can swing the initial investment, I get a lot of buyer's remorse for people who are saying, who come back maybe a year later and say, man, I wish we'd have gone with the 54 because I had no idea the wide format stuff was such a big lucrative market. By the same token, you may have somebody that you cooperate with who has one of these. They're all signs all the time. I don't do that much of it. I'll use theirs. Maybe go just a 30-inch printer, and I'll do everything that I need to do except the wide format banners and let him do that. I'll sub them out. It's worth it for me. The other reason is space. Sometimes you just don't have the room for a 54-inch printer. This one's about 5.5 feet long. The 54-inch is about 7.5 feet long. I always tell people this is about the size of a love seat, so you can always just move that out of the living room and bring one of those in. Any other questions?
How long does it last and
How long? Good question. How long does this stuff last? Outdoors, it's 3 years with no UV protection, so it's not going to fade outdoors on that decal on the car or on the side of the truck window. 3 years minimum. Heat transfer, what most of us do, you're looking at 50 plus washings. exceptionally durable, so fit the life of the shirt. That's kind of industry standard. How long does screen print last? About 50 washing. They stop testing after 50 because you're done with the shirt by then. Except for that one shirt that you wash the car in and sleep in all the time. I know that one. The one that you just won't throw away. It's just tattered and you just keep wearing it. So exceptionally durable. So that was, remember the big three, what were they? Versatility, flexibility, and durability. The durability is exceptional. You won't get a better, more durable process than this. The flexibility part was where I'm able to produce anything on demand as they wait. There's no setup, I just basically bring in the art, put it in here and press it, print it, cut it, weed it, mask it, press it. Sounds like a lot of steps, but it's really not that long of a process.
How about the ink in the machine? Does it last as long as that does?
The ink in the machine will take, oh, you mean as far as shelf life?
Yeah. Well, like no, uses.
How long will it take me to run out of ink?
Yes. For that one.
Oh, same principle. Same amount of ink. It's using the same ink, the same amount of ink as it's using. It'll last longer because the print's slower. You can't do as much done. Yeah, but it is the same principle. It's the same print head. This is the same print head in this machine, the upgraded machine, as they put in there. So they really did a good job as far as keeping things quality-wise with the little machine. It is just noticeably slower. And you don't notice it unless you've actually seen one of these run. And then you go over here and you go, really? But if you're not used to it, it's no biggie. If you're never had it to start with. Yes?
Is there a shelf life?
There's a 2-year shelf life on the inks. But my thought is if you went 2 years without, you still had your ink in your machine, you probably didn't need to buy the machine. But it's probably about 6 to 9 months before you actually start replacing one at a time. Yeah.
It's a lot slower than the direct-to-garment.
Yeah, it is totally contrary to direct-to-garment, sublimation, even your desktop printer. You go through this ink like crazy with those, but comparatively speaking. A little bit goes a long way. It's a very, very efficient use of ink. A small droplet of solvent-based ink kind of, really has a great coverage. Sure. Yeah, it's the same principle because it's water-based, pigment-based ink that's going to just kind of lay on top. Where here, this actually bleeds into the print receptor of the material. That being said, for me or for anybody who has done this at all, if you're looking at a capital investment, the best money spent as far as the money that you can return on your investment for a larger amount of a capital investment is going to be for a printer cutter, solvent inkjet printer cutter. There's just so many different areas that I can go. Does everybody get a chance to press? You good? Awesome. I'll use the same platen that's on here. Again, these are nice add-on promotional type products. Everybody wants an umbrella to show their logos on. I mean, car dealerships, funeral homes, they're always needed. You go look at your car, well, hang on to my umbrella. You're advertising for them. They don't care if you take it home. Not like me and my weeders and squeegees, by the way. So I'm not even going to open that machine. I'm not even going to open that umbrella. I may actually just slide that on there, and this Stahls logo can go right on top of here, press, and done. Now this $3 umbrella that I bought was worth what, $10, $15? If I sell it with something that's with their logo on it, it just increased that value just with a simple, maybe a 50-cent transfer. That simple. Now, threadability and having some of these on that are, but yeah, I could do the same thing and open this up. Sorry, Grandma. She yells at me when I open umbrellas in the house. You could do that this way too. Bigger format, I can get a larger design there. It also requires somebody else to hold it for you sometimes. That's why I like it the other way to go. I've had many people doing this. Okay, push the buttons. You have the ability. Yeah, I push it with my head, the side button. I've done it all. Yeah, it's embarrassing. But yeah, so there's with a combination of the heat presses and the platens and the types of flexibility we have there with this type of process, there's not a whole lot that you can't do. And especially with the adhesion of the new materials, these binders are leather or faux leather, something like that. We're applying heat transfer to it. Why does that work so well? Because the media that we use, the tech lines specifically, goes on a low temperature of 285 degrees. So you don't have the adhesive is universal. So now I don't worry about the scorching that you can get when you're doing those performance wears. That's what everybody concerns about. Well, how do I stop it from scorching? Well, use a transfer that goes at a low temp. That's pretty much it. We can help that by using the gray flex pad too. This actually you would put on top of that. I would use that semi-religiously on top of performance wear. It helps evenly distribute that heat so it's not direct onto the fabric. But make sure that whatever your temperature is, if I need to, or your time is, if I need to press this for 10 seconds, I will press it for 20 when I put this on. I'm going to add at least 10 seconds for that heat to transfer through here. That's the only addition when you're using a flex pad. Add 10 more seconds to your dwell time, so that it actually gives a chance for that heat to actually, migrate through that and radiate through that. So it actually putting the real 10 seconds onto the adhesive. So nothing's off limits anymore. Stop saying no. Don't never say no again if you have the opportunity to use this type of process. I appreciate your attentiveness, and thanks for joining us today.